Manal and I would watch the sitcom Friends every Thursday. It was our favorite show and our favorite day of the week. It was still airing live at the time, although Romania was a bit behind by the time it aired there. We looked forward to it all week long. It was our escape, our way of running away from the bleak reality of curfews and restrictions. Even though we were both in our 20s and in college, we were still treated like children. Our house looked over the largest park in Bucharest, kind of like Central Park in New York. Every Saturday, the park lit up with music, laughter. There was even fireworks every single Saturday, just because it was Saturday. Boy, did the Romanians know how to party, which only proves you don't have to be rich to enjoy life. From my bedroom window, I could hear the bass thumping through the walls, rattling my window, while I sat there, trapped inside. Manal and I would hear stories from our college friends about their parties the night before, how much fun they had, just living a normal college life. They had boyfriends, and everywhere we looked, even during lecture, people were making out non-stop. While Manal and I were stuck at home, and if we were lucky on Thursday, we would catch Friends on TV. PDA was everywhere in Romania. It was so intense that in pure daylight at the park, you could see couples practically dry humping while kids played nearby. At the water parks, which were supposed to be for families, all the moms and women were topless. There was no drinking age, so even 14-year-olds walked around with beers. And in the movie theaters, there was no such thing as rated R. Anyone at any age could watch anything. On the side of public transportation buses, huge posters showed almost naked women in sexual poses covering the entire bus. It was a free-for-all culture, which only made my father restrict us even more. "You're like Rapunzel," Monica said while laughing. I looked at her. "Rapunzel? Seriously?" "Yeah," she smiled. "Stuck in your tower just looking out to the world wishing you could be out there too?" "That's so true. At least she got out in the end," I said with a sad face. For us, Rachel, Monica, Phoebe, Chandler, Ross, and Joey weren't just characters. They were our friends too. We often imagine what our lives would be like if we had friends like Friends. I would say to Manel with a big smile on my face, "As soon as Father falls asleep." Her face would light up and smile from ear to ear. Yes, that's our time. During the day, Father occupied the living room, glued to the TV, watching the news. We had no TV in our bedroom, so those late night hours were our free time. It wasn't Stockholm Syndrome like it had been in Saudi. It wasn't us against him. We were grown now, more mature. We had realized the damage our mother was causing to our family. We enjoyed the peaceful home environment without her. We so desperately craved stability in our home. And for once, we had that. Yet even with the quiet, there was still a distance between us and our father. Like many men born in the 40s, especially from Yemen, he was reserved, holding his emotions inside, never saying what he felt. That silence built a wall between us that we could never quite break through. In the middle of the night, I used to hear my father's nightmare wails, filled with fear and terror, on a regular basis for most of my life. It was never brought up, although we all heard it. I learned early on that asking for money brought out a completely different side of him. There was a day I needed money for clothes, and when I fearfully approached my father to ask, his face hardened and he snapped like a monster. "No," he shouted. "Get out of my face." The rejection, although not a surprise, for some reason hit me so hard I started to cry. And then, almost without realizing it, the words just came out of my mouth. How come you never say I love you to us, your own daughters? Why don't you ever tell us that? It wasn't the topic we were talking about. We were talking about money, about shopping. But something deeper broke through me at that moment. It was a subconscious yearning for his love and affection. He stared at me. His face looked surprised and confused, as if he never thought about it before. He paused. I can tell he was searching for words. And then flatly said, I don't know. I'm just like that. That's who I am. I don't say these things. This is how it is and how I am. Now get out of my face. We only had a $3 allowance. Granted, it stretched further in Romania, but it was only given to us on weekdays, never on weekends. His mindset was that since we weren't at school for long hours, we could have our meals at home. One night, we came home 5, maybe 10 minutes late after the 9 p.m. curfew. We had gone to watch a movie, but of course we told him we were at the library. When the car pulled up to the house, he was already outside waiting for us at the gate, standing in the freezing Romanian snow in nothing but his flip-flops and a white thobe. His face was tight with anger. Manel peeked through the window and whispered, half jokingly, half terrified, "Look at his face. It's like we just committed a vicious crime." The driver opened the door and we stepped out slowly, gazing down to the icy ground. Father stared at us, his breath heavy in the cold night air. He leaned in just enough for us to hear and hissed in a low voice, "You'll see what happens when you're late again." We just kept walking quickly and went into the house. He was so strict with the curfew that if I had a late class on my schedule, I wasn't allowed to attend for the entire semester. I had to explain my situation to the teacher, and most of the time they would understand out of respect for our culture. We'd work out an alternative like submitting papers and homework instead of showing up in person. Because of her disabled right arm, Manal was always treated as incompetent, raised to believe she had to hide her flaw. One winter day, Father Manal and I were walking through central Bucharest, Piazza Romana. The wind cut through us. "Oh, I need a sweater for this freezing winter," Manal said, pointing timidly to a boutique window. "Those look so nice. I want to check them out. Maha, please, would you come with me?" "Go with your sister," Father added. "She's too fragile to go alone. You know she can't." I turned to her. "Knock yourself out, Manal. Go, it's just 2 steps away. We'll watch you from here." Father shot me a stern look. "Stop coddling her," I argued. "She's in college now. She has to learn. She's capable of buying a sweater by herself. Trust me, it's good for her." Manal hesitated. I nudged her gently. "Go, Manal. Try on all the sweaters you like. Buy the one that feels best. You have cash in your purse. You can do this. I promise." And she did. When she came out, her face glowed. "I did it, sister," she shouted, breathless with pride. "I can't believe it. I went inside, I tried on the sweater, I told the lady it was too small and asked her for a medium, then I paid, got my change, my receipt, and my bag." She held it up like a trophy. Voila! So easy. I'll never forget her joy. 4 years in Romania passed quickly, and it was graduation day. I miraculously made it and earned a bachelor's degree in business administration. On the day of graduation, after the ceremony, my best friend finally confessed. I have to tell you something, Monica said softly. Remember the first day of college? When all 5 of us went to McDonald's? I didn't eat because I couldn't afford it. McDonald's felt like a fancy restaurant to me. I was saving up, and I promised myself that on graduation day, I'd finally reward myself with a Big Mac meal. I realized at that moment how oblivious I was back then. I wanted to tell her that if I had known, Manal and I would have combined our allowances and happily paid for all their 3 meals. In Romania, especially back then, in 2002, before they joined the European Union, it was so cheap, maybe $1 or $2 at most. But I didn't want to insult her, so I kept that thought to myself. And that day, we all sat together, and for the first time, she ate a Big Mac meal with us. Soon it was time for Father to really retire this time, and for us to return to Yemen for good. But I knew if I went back, I would either kill myself or be killed. After tasting even a small amount of freedom in Romania and seeing what life can look like, what possibilities are out there, I could not go back. In our final year, I noticed my Romanian classmates applying to graduate schools in the United States. They were applying to Harvard and Stanford and Ivy League schools, and they actually got accepted and even received full scholarships. An idea sparked. Maybe I could do the same. This was it, my ticket out. My ticket to the land of the free. To return to America, the country Maysoon and I had loved as children. But my grades were low, not like theirs. So I secretly researched the requirements and applied to schools where I had a better chance of getting in. For a year, I worked on prerequisites, passed TESOL, which stands for Teaching English to Speakers of Other Languages, and gathered all the certifications I needed. Then came the hardest part, the visa. I needed Father's help to show a financial affidavit. I begged him, please let me go. It's just 18 months. I'll earn a master's degree in organizational behavior, then I'll come straight back to Yemen. I don't need your money. Just show them a financial affidavit so they would grant me a student visa. I promise not to ask for money from you. I got a scholarship. Lies. I lied 1,000 lies. Deep inside, I knew I would never go back. It was do or die. I thought I'd rather sweep the streets of America than live that horrible life back in Yemen with my mother. When my friends asked how I would survive financially, I said I'll mop floors at McDonald's if I have to. I don't care. At the airport, Father surprised me. I didn't think you'd pull this off, he said. I thought they would deny you a visa to the United States since you are a citizen of Yemen. Normally, you'd have to apply in Yemen, but you did it here in Bucharest. I just didn't want to be the bad guy and have you whining and crying in my ear for months. So I let you stay busy following the process. I was in complete shock when the U.S. Embassy actually approved and issued you a U.S. student visa. I don't know how you did it, Maha, but good for you. Then his voice cracked. I had never seen him emotional before. Take care of yourself, Maha. I want to apologize, he said. Apologize? My head almost exploded. No one has ever apologized to me my entire life. I should have protected you better from that violent ex-husband, he continued. I should have asked around, vetted him before giving him your hand in marriage. It's okay, Dad. It's all in the past. I'm starting a new chapter now. I responded and gave him a hug. For a moment he paused, then gave me what he thought was the most important advice of all. Please, Maha, never get a credit card and drown yourself in debt like all Americans do. This was an excerpt from my memoir, Maha Unshackled. P.S. This memoir is complete and has just been sitting on my laptop for months, staring at me like, now what? If you know a publisher or can slip it to Oprah or Reese, I'll owe you free yoga classes for life. Please subscribe for free to receive the next chapter.